What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Three and Out podcast. I'm your host, Tyson. I'm joined here with two of the busiest men alive, Blake Vaughn and Jack Lansaw. How are y'all doing today?
I'm doing great, Tyson. How about you?
Pretty solid, pretty solid. We have a lot to get into today. We have not uploaded in about 3 weeks. I think your camera's a little messed up, Blake. I think you're a little too close. We haven't uploaded in about 3 weeks. We are now entering week 13 of the NFL season. We just finished up with week 12. And the first thing I really want to get into, obviously, is the Broncos-Chargers game. Broncos are now 6-5. They defeated the Chargers 28-13, and it really wasn't even as close as the score makes it seem. I think Broncos were like 4-point underdogs going into that game. So pretty big win for the Broncos. Justin Herbert did not have a great game. Patrick Surtain, 2 interceptions, including a pick 6, pretty good one too. And our run game looked amazing. We saw a little bit of a glimpse from Drew Lock when Teddy Bridgewater went down for a little bit. And one thing I really want to talk about from this game is that the whole year we were mediocre, and we still are mediocre, but we were like really mediocre. And mediocre. Yeah, you're a 49ers fan, but we were really mediocre. And I really wasn't sure on, I wasn't sold on the idea that the Teddy start was the right decision ultimately. Because I remember week 1, after Teddy did pretty decent, people were saying oh, Teddy Bridgewater is the right choice. Drew Lock is definitely not that guy. And I really wasn't sure about it. I wasn't sold the entire time because we weren't doing that great.
Until
Dallas
freaking Cowboys.
That game was a big jump. That was a big jump for Teddy. He was a great game manager in that game. We destroyed them. And then I was really, really sold whenever, obviously, Drew Lock got some playing time this weekend. He had 7 passes thrown, I believe 4 completions and an interception. And the interception was bad. It was bad. He didn't look like he had changed at all. He didn't look like a new quarterback.
I've always had so much hope for Drew Lock.
Yeah.
I feel everyone loves Drew Lock, but he's just not good.
Talent.
Yeah, we all know his nickname. And the talent is definitely there, but he just...
What's his nickname?
You can look it up after the show. But the talent is definitely there for Drew Lock. And he definitely has some potential, and it would have been fun, way more funner, I guess is the best word I can think of, to watch Drew Lock start for this year, but we didn't. We had Teddy. You guys have any thoughts about that game? I don't know if you guys saw that Austin Eckler drop, but that kind of hurt the narrative for Austin Eckler.
I didn't really watch too much of this game, to be honest.
But I've always kind of hated on Justin Herbert, even though I know that he's kind of he's actually good. I don't know. I just don't like the guy. But I saw a thing, and he is he just doesn't throw the ball downfield that much. He's last in the league and
air yards per play, I believe.
Yeah. Which is wild.
Crazy,
he has a huge arm, and someone was saying that was. Or I was just watching a little recap, and they were talking about how
it's what Kirk Cousins does.
Yeah, that was a big reason why they lost that game, because they just couldn't run the ball and they couldn't stretch the field. So it just froze.
It is weird to see, especially because that Steelers game, Justin Herbert had about 1 pass that went over 20 yards, and it was that Mike Williams play. But the whole year, we've kind of seen the narrative that, Big Ben can't throw deep anymore. Big Ben can't throw deep. And it's so weird that Justin Herbert actually throws the ball deep less than Ben Roethlisberger, despite being probably 10 times as able, his ability to throw the ball deep down the field.
Kyler had kind of the same problem last year at the midpoint of the year. He just kind of stopped throwing it downfield, and he's definitely got an arm and can create and get the ball downfield. But I don't know. I feel like they just get in a conservative mode or something.
Yeah. Their coach, Brandon Staley, is definitely a little on the overrated side after those press conferences. I didn't like his approach in this game offensively. A lot of people say they involve Austin Eckler not enough. I think they involve him too much, to be honest. I think they focus on Austin Eckler and check down passes way too much. I think they should definitely air the ball down the field more, because that's how the Steelers beat the Broncos with Big Ben. Big Ben was slinging that thing downfield, and they beat the Broncos. And the Chargers don't sling that thing with a way better and way stronger of a quarterback, and they lose by 15 points.
You got really nice wideouts.
Yeah, they do. They have a really
Yeah.
talented weapons, and Austin Eckler is still pretty solid for receiving back. They have a pretty decent offensive line, pretty good offensive line, I would say.
Yeah, they definitely
They don't.
don't like they don't play like they should for the weapons they have. They could
Yeah.
be a lot more of like a pass happy offense. Probably should be, but it could fall down to their offensive line. I'm not too familiar with it, but that's what I would assume. They're probably pretty weak.
It's really just a play calling at the end of the day. They just don't have
Yeah.
good play calling. They
And the
don't
thing is
adjust
like
much.
the receivers are not really like deep threat receivers. Like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams aren't really like big
Yeah, that
deep
is.
threats. It's more they're more rack catchers, and so they're trying to get them in space and like maybe like a 12-yard route or something like that, and maybe go for as many
Yeah.
yards as they can. But that's
We've definitely seen Mike Williams improve downfield, especially
Yeah,
this year. But
He's good like once the ball is in the air, like he's fast, but like he doesn't get too much separation before them, but like he has like I don't know, closing speed. He's got really nice closing speed, and he's that I feel like he's worked on.
yeah,
catch radius.
he has definitely had a lot of improvement this year for sure. But that's really all I have to say about this. It's going to be interesting seeing the Chargers and Bengals this week. We'll get into those matchups later. And it's interesting to see how the Broncos and the Chargers, both their seasons play out, being similar records now. AFC West is heating up. The Raiders just beat the Cowboys Thanksgiving.
Broncos at the bottom.
Technically, yeah. Let's talk about another game.
What other way can you?
What are the ways there to be at the bottom?
Well,
They're the worst team.
Okay, well, they're at the bottom, but they're like the Chargers have.
The bottom. I mean, the last. That's the bottom.
Well, the Chargers are tied with them for last, and then the Raiders, I believe, have played one less game or one more game, maybe. I don't know, but so that kind of gives them this slight half game advantage. But yeah, let's talk about another very interesting game with some big narratives. The 49ers Vikings game. I hope you guys caught that one. It was definitely an interesting fourth quarter. Kirk Cousins lined up behind the guard, which cost them,
Very funny.
which
play.
kind of cost them a crucial fourth down. They ended up not getting it anyways, but
Yeah, it was interesting, and you could just see Kirk Cousins
Oh.
making mistakes, and kind of like Justin Jefferson was kind of like irrelevant the whole entire game, and Dalvin Cook was injured, so they just didn't have like any weapons. So he didn't really have any weapons to work with anyways, and kind of saw Nick Bosa getting after him too. So
yeah, Nick Bosa had a lot of pressure on him. He had so much pressure. Deebo Samuel went down with an injury that game, and then Dalvin Cook in the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah,
Didn't
that
he
was
also
pretty
have,
interesting.
Like 4 rushing touchdowns.
He had, I believe, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah,
ran for
he's
4
been-
throughout the season, I believe.
Oh, okay. No, that was it was a stat I saw with Cardale Patterson and Debo Samuel combined had 4
Oh, they
rushing
combined for I saw that. Yeah, they combined for 4. Deebo, I don't think he had any catches, but he had 2 like pretty
No
big.
catches?
No catch. He like lined up
Yeah,
probably
he's
like
just
8 times.
it's because they put him at he's just like the running back now. Like they don't.
I know. And it's working. It's working. It's opened the 49ers offense a lot more. It's giving Brandon Ayuk more chances. He was the leading receiver for that game for the 49ers. And it's opening the box for Elijah Mitchell because teams have to worry about 2 guys
Mhm.
now. And then they also have to worry about Brandon Ayuk and
Now,
the best tight end in the league, George Kittle.
think
So
Elijah Mitchell, did he have 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns? I want to say.
I think he had 1, maybe 2, but he had a great game, 133
Yeah.
yards or something like that on like 25 carries. He was a workhorse. Definitely a good thing to see.
You know, as an OU fan, I'm really curious what is going on with Trey Sermon
That is weird.
out there.
Why is a OU fan? What is that?
I mean, I just feel like he went to OU, Blake, but
Trexler go to OU. I thought he went to Ohio State this whole time.
Yeah, he went to Ohio State.
He went to Ohio State for 1 year. He was at OU before then. He transferred. 'cause
Oh,
he
okay.
didn't enough carries.
Oh,
which
he
was
did.
Yeah, I
true.
didn't know that.
I was so pissed because I always thought he was like insane, but we never gave him the ball, and then he left and he went to Ohio State. But
OU, that's we'll get
I did not
there.
even know that. That was
we'll
I
get
was
to
like-
OU in a little
I don't
bit.
want to get.
Oh,
there.
we'll get an
But
OU for sure before our week 13 predictions.
It's just weird that they take a first round talent, and then they are at running back, and then they're starting this rookie, and then you're throwing your wide receiver in at running back. Like
Yeah,
Mhm.
Kyle Shanahan he pulls out every
he's
weapon.
quite the interesting dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's been kind of working recently. It's been
The past 2 weeks it's been working, and
they've been on a big uptrend.
I'm a fan of the Debo at wide receiver or at running back. I'm a fan
I'm
of
a
that.
Debo anywhere.
Yeah, everyone likes Debo's
Yeah,
play style.
he's been-
It's really interesting to see like pure athletes dominate the game in so many ways, like
Mhm.
Debo. Teams should take advantage of that definitely more.
I feel like there are a lot more, like a lot of guys who can do more stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
don't-
yeah, I'd love to see like a Tyreek Hill at running back type.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
He
I've
he's
always-
lined up like that before, and it's been pretty interesting. They do a lot of
He did that a little bit at Oklahoma State.
Mhm.
He
Yeah,
started off as a running back.
Oh, do you
Yes.
remember like Tavon Austin would do that too? At like
Oh,
oh yeah,
West
we all remember that
Virginia?
West Virginia college tape.
I
Yeah.
wonder who like started that. That's a question for a dad. Like who?
It's gotta be recent, I think. I mean, I bet like
I
teams
think it might have been Percy Harvin.
that's probably good.
Percy Harvin, yeah, that's a good.
That
I
guy
forgot about
was
Percy Harvin.
Yeah, Percy Harvin. He
so
just
fun player to watch.
he was a beast. And
Yeah.
also yeah, he destroyed the Broncos in 2013 too.
How did you know the year exactly?
Yeah, what the-
It's hard to forget. It was the Super Bowl. It was like 43-8.
I don't know the year of any Super Bowl.
I'll go.
But yeah, 49ers trending upwards, Vikings. I'm still not too worried. The loss of Dalvin Cook is definitely huge. I still think there's a chance to make a playoff push. I haven't really checked a look at their schedule. I can look at it real quick.
So they're
But-
what, 5-7?
I think they're 5-6 right now. Maybe
5 and
they're
s-
maybe they're
five-
5-7. They should be 5-6. Yeah, they're 5-6.
Okay, so
Um,
they're only one game behind playoff spot, or maybe even.
Yeah, and they'll have a bounce back game against the Lions this week, hopefully. They play the Steelers, the Bears, which should be pretty winnable games. They have the Rams and the Packers, and they're gonna have to win one of those if they want to get in the playoffs. And I think you probably hope the Packers game, seeing they won last week versus the Packers, but
Mhm.
yeah, and then they have the Bears again. So there's definitely a way still. And there's also a way for the 49ers. We could see both of these teams as that 6 and 7 spot in the NFC, which is really up for anyone right now. I mean, we saw Washington slip in there this week after their win.
I like to watch Washington. Like I just like the way they play.
They are pretty, so it's a fun team.
I will say I like Washington, and Taylor Heineke's had some good games, like randomly good games. But I would never. I'm so scared to like pick him up and start him in fantasy football.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like the scariest thing ever.
Like their defense or
No,
Taylor Heineke?
Heineke.
Oh, Taylor Heineke. Oh,
Yeah, he's a like he definitely has a ton of
Oh,
talent. But like sometimes he looks like he just like
oh.
forgets how to play football.
I'm not too high on Taylor Heineke. I feel like you can't play like the ways he plays sometimes as a
I-
starting quarterback.
What dude, you know he runs like a 4, is he like a 4.5 or a
Yeah, he's
like-
pretty athletic, which is
fast?
really promising. But
Yeah, but they don't like really use him. Like I feel like he just pretty much scrambles. They don't really run him.
yeah, it feels like they don't know the perfect play style for him. Like they don't know the exact
They're
fit
kind
yet.
of tossing him in there. Like I feel like you could fit something better towards him, but like you'd have to have a really nice coach for that.
And
Like,
that kind of goes for the entire Washington offense. Terry McLaurin doesn't get the ball consistently that much. Antonio Gibson's touches are kind of weird. He splits carries with JD McKissick, which shouldn't be happening. I know he's injured and he's been kind of dealing with that, but I think at this point you should definitely be leaning more towards the guy you spent a pretty high pick on,
Mhm.
especially when he's producing it the way he is. But Washington, that's an interesting narrative as they and they have a pretty easy schedule going forward for the playoffs. I think they play the Eagles and the Giants. They do play the Cowboys twice, which
Yep.
is scary. But that's a winnable game. At least one of those is that, like, I think they can take one of those versus the Cowboys. It's a divisional game.
Oh,
We're starting to see that division like not be as lackluster it has been in the past couple of
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, I mean the Giants suck, but the Eagles
Yeah,
and the
Eagles
and
are
Washington,
Eagles are all right, and then Cowboys are pretty good.
yeah.
'Cause
Um,
we-
it seems like every week the NFC East team like blows a game that it shouldn't. Like the
Mhm.
Cowboys, Raiders, like it just it feels like every
Eagles.
week there's gonna be some team.
Yeah. Did you guys happen to watch
The
the
Eagles, Giants,
Cowboys
obviously.
Cowboys Saints game tonight?
I did not
I-
watch it.
I have only watched the first half.
Okay, well I watched the ending, so maybe that's
You can piece it together.
yeah.
But from what I saw, it's kind of similar to what we saw week before, at least on offense. With
Mhm.
it, they start off the game, can't run it, and then they are just not going to run it. And we struggled a little bit more on offense than I would hope to
Yeah.
start it off. But Amari Cooper wasn't completely in. Then he came in for a little bit, kind of sparked the offense off, and then I know we scored again in that second or in the first half. So like it kind of
Mhm.
heated up, but we still weren't able to run like at all. And the right tackle spot is in shambles. That's and
Yeah. From what I
it's nice to have DeMarcus Lawrence back. Very, very, very nice to have DeMarcus Lawrence.
oh really did he get some impact in that game?
Yeah, he was playing. He got probably 3 pressures and then a pass deflection and a tackle for loss. I think in the first half.
From what I saw from the Saints is that their defense showed like some like life and like some action that
Their
the defense can
defense
play
is
well.
Good.
Yeah, the defense is really good.
They're real. They're tough. I watched them. I can't remember who it was against, but their run defense is scary.
Yeah, their defense is very good, but their offense just has they need to get some sort of actual quarterback. This
They have one.
It's not gonna work.
He's on the
This is
IR,
not-
but he's coming back next year.
Who?
30-30, Mr. Winston.
No, they need to somehow get like an actual franchise.
Yeah,
quarterback.
Trevor Siemian is not it, and Taysom Hill is not it either.
Dude, they got a
They
tank.
need-
They really
Like-
should just blow it up. They should blow it up. They're like
Yeah,
too
they're
mediocre.
Holding on to this for too long.
Yeah,
They
they're
should've tanked it last year.
They're spending too much money to be too mediocre.
Yeah.
They have no receiver talent. Like I mean, they have a little receiver talent, but they
They have
need
Michael Thomas still.
But he's gone. He's out for the
yeah,
year.
he's out for the
He's out for the year and he wants to leave. I mean,
I
it's
don't-
he's
Is he actually out for the year? I feel like
Yeah.
he's just sick.
I would be the first to know. I had him in fantasy and I was really banking him and coming
Also-
back. And then he just
and also saying
Unless he
Michael Thomas, he's so like he hasn't played for like 2 years pretty much. It's like
yeah, he hasn't been his
he's
old
not-
self in 2
it's like
years.
not on a team anymore.
Yeah, you don't really like count him as a weapon at this point for the Saints.
like
I mean,
he's a weapon they should have, but they've also kind of like mismanaged that too.
you got Alvin Kamara and like an okay a decent O line. That's pretty much it.
They have a pretty strong defense, which is
Yeah.
promising as we mentioned, but I do think they should kind of blow the team up. Not fully, you can keep obviously a good amount of defensive talent without having to blow your team up, but I think they should definitely explore other options, maybe drafting a quarterback. I think that even like a move like that, just like drafting a quarterback pretty early. I know the class isn't that strong this year, but if you want to trade up for like a Matt
I feel
Corral.
like they'd be all right with like a Matt Corral.
Yeah, Matt Corral is a
Just
pretty good
start.
fit.
I feel like he could be he could be ready pretty quick because they do need someone who can play
now.
soon because
Yeah.
they have a good roster.
Yeah. I
Um,
think
And I want to be mad if they ran it back with Winston. I expect them to fully, but I just think with Winston, you're gonna do good. But Winston, you're not gonna do good if you have Winston and the weapons that they have now, which is just Kamara and then a bunch of what should be third stringers. Um, I don't think it's the answer. I think if you're going to run it with Winston, you should definitely surround him with more receiving weapons. And if you can't get that, then you should explore rebuilding to some degree. And their cap space is still a mess. They were like negative a bunch of money. I don't know the exact number, but they were really negative going into this year.
I
And
don't
it-
know how they like. I remember seeing it, and I don't know how they like maneuvered that to not go broke.
It was Drew Brees. Drew Brees took a pay cut and he retired. And then they restructured like every contract in the book. It took a lot and it definitely was a hard process, but they're gonna have to do it again because again, their cap has not gotten any better.
I know everyone loves Taysom Hill, but I really don't think that they should still be holding on to his contract like that.
To be honest, people say everyone loves Taysom Hill, but I can't name a person I've met who's like, yeah, I hope Taysom Hill is starting.
Well, not a quarterback. No one
People
like
just,
wants
like,
him at
like-
quarterback.
yeah, no, just likes the story, but like still, I feel like
Just or like watching him play. Like watching him play is really cool. Like when
Yeah,
he's
I
not
get that,
just,
when
like,
he's running.
when he's not just when he's not just like the passing quarterback.
yeah,
That's not what we want to see.
it is weird. I remember going into the year when Winston and Taysom Hill were competing for the QB1 spot in training camp.
I thought
why?
that was ridiculous. They're like nowhere close.
Like, why are we doing that?
He threw a pick six to a D lineman today.
Yeah, and that Cowboys D lineman at that isn't named
Yeah.
DeMarcus Lawrence. So yeah, it was definitely like I don't even know why they even entertained the idea.
Another takeaway I had from the Cowboys game, I forgot to mention that I literally, as I was watching, I was like, oh, I need to talk about this tonight. Is that CeeDee Lamb? One, he had like two, I feel like catchable balls that he dropped at the beginning, but he also had two of like, well, one like absolutely filthy run after the catch that was like
Mhm.
wild, like Tyreek Hill type stuff.
Was that the play where he broke Malcolm Jenkins?
Yes, he
That
just
was
absolutely demolished.
that was
and
wild.
He had another after the catch, and that kind of made me think like, how do we rank like the Jamar Chase, like these first 2-year receivers right now?
First
like-
2 year, as in like this draft and last draft combined.
Like, Jay Jettas, you got CD, you got Ayuk.
Oh, so just 2 year receiver, second year receiver.
So just sophomores.
Yeah, a lot of
Hmm.
like I think Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, who are I know? I think it's T Higgins. I know
Yeah,
him.
There's a lot. There's honestly a lot of, and then wait. Oh wait, throw in the third year because like that's then you got DK and.
Yeah, we could definitely.
Pittman
I think-
Jr.
I think Justin Jefferson, if you're talking the last 3 years, 2019, 2020, 2021,
Yeah.
I think Justin Jefferson's obviously the best out of those 3
I
years.
think yeah, that's your definitely most
Yeah.
solid. Justin
CD's been-
Jefferson, and
He's
then,
been very good, but he also gets so many targets per game. Like
Yeah.
he's like target to catch ratio isn't very like good. I feel
Yeah, and
like.
he hasn't really like
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jake. Jake, you there?
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I said let me look it up. I'm looking up Debo Samuel's yards. per catch,
Oh.
'cause that's
Oh
kinda
yeah,
cool.
Debo Samuel is up there your receiver as
Oh
well.
yeah, his
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Those are definitely some
Oh,
good
and there's
Samuel
Jerry
Adams.
Judy.
DK, Jerry Judy. Yeah, I like Jerry Judy, but he isn't.
I don't think he's up there, but I'm just
Yeah,
throwing names in.
yeah. Debo Samuel after the catch is insane. He's a
I
best in the
think
league
if
there.
I'm gonna
AJ
rank
Brown's in there.
throw who
DJ Brown is. Oh, and then I think yeah, Terry McLaurin too.
Terry McLaurin. Yeah, I think if I'm just gonna rank top 5 because I feel like it'd be too much if I rank the others. I'd go Justin Jefferson 1, AJ Brown 2, DK 3.
AJ
it's like-
Brown too.
Yeah, DK
Maybe I
3.
have, maybe I have recency bias, but I feel like he's just like it's been not very good recently.
Well,
at
he
all.
just hasn't gotten really like good targets. Like he's gotten volume this year. Don't get me wrong, when the games that he's been healthy, but Tannehill is just not good this year, and he's not giving him good opportunities. But we saw, I mean, that Colts game where it to overtime, he was getting good balls and he was making great plays. He's still a great receiver. I don't see any weaknesses in his game.
Okay, go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that really is the thing about him. Like, he's definitely, other than like yards per catch, he's not like a top 5 at any of the things, but I think he's top 10, like
Everything, yeah.
everything.
He doesn't really have any like particular. He's great at like making big plays and contested catches. And like,
And he's got consistent hands. He's quick.
yeah,
Good after the catch. He's strong.
yeah.
His route running is good.
I'm a big fan of him. So I'd go him 2. I'd go DK 3. Terry McLaurin, I feel like has to be
Devo?
4. Or no, I'd go probably Debo 4, then Terry McLaurin 5 at this point. I think you have to have Justin Jefferson in 1. I think if you put Debo 1, you're insane.
No. I was gonna say.
Oh, and don't forget Jamar Chase, because he's definitely.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely like a
I was
close
gonna say-
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's definitely like a
think-
7, probably.
I would probably go. I think you got to go Jamar Chase.
You got Jamar 1?
Oh shoot, no, I didn't
No.
know.
I was gonna say. You mean Justin Jefferson?
Justin Jefferson 1, then
N'Keal Harry.
No.
Then JJ or Siga Whiteside.
Also,
Take
Michael
that
Pittman
outside.
Jr. has been very good this year. He might be like a.
He's like
Oh
probably
yeah,
7
9.
or 8.
I think he's probably top 10.
He's probably
Um,
top 10 out of year 3
So
and on.
Justin Jefferson, then I'm gonna go Debo, then AJ Brown, then Terry McLaurin, then DK.
Harry over DK is interesting. I'm not mad at the AJ Brown over Debo, and I honestly might make that switch just depending on the day. But
I mean, I'm not really too sure past then.
I think it's just like Jamar Chase and then
Oh, Jamar Chase
ambiguity.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like ambiguous from there.
Yeah.
I love deep threat receivers. It's like my favorite thing to watch in football.
So you should be a big AJ Brown and DK guy.
Yeah, I'm a big Jamar Chase fan.
Oh man, yeah, well, obviously, but
Yeah, Jamar Chase is wild on Debo.
Yeah.
you also have him in fantasy, so that can affect your bias.
Yeah, I would say that. I have Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase back-to-back offensive rookies of the year.
Yeah, but like
That's
CD,
nice.
if you're talking about like all around though, like I like CD and I like Jamar and I like Justin Jefferson because like those are guys you can play in the slot that can go get deep balls. They can get contested catches. They can get in between routes.
Yeah.
Like, and their build supports all of that. Like I know DK can probably do all of that, but like he's just so huge. It's not quite
Yeah.
as practical. And like they just kind of all have that kind of knack. I don't know what it is. Just like
They all know how to get the ball. They have great
they're all
ball skills.
fluid and just like are also like very aware with their sticking in zones and stuff.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I just like to add, I'd probably put CD Lamb 6. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. We were just talking about him, but yeah, CD Lamb probably 6, and then Jamar Chase had 7.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. I think it's probably time to do our week 13 predictions.
Before we do that, I think we should just kind of dabble in college football.
Oh, yeah.
I think our week 13 should end it. College football. First off, biggest news of the week.
OU. Is that what we're gonna start?
It's the letter after N and before P. Starts with that. O U. Lincoln Riley is gone.
Yeah.
He is gone. He just got paid Jeff Bezos money to go coach a mediocre team at USC.
You know what else is gone, Tyson? My hopes and dreams for college football for like the next 3 years.
And that number 5 ranking is gone. It's all
Number 5
gone.
ranking and the number 1, I think it was the number 1 recruiting class next year.
And
This is
basically everyone else.
awful.
Yeah, everyone
Chance-
is gone.
And every good player that we had before.
and a chance of making the college playoffs this week.
Obviously, that's out of the question. That's just
That
that's
wasn't
done.
in my mind. Like I really didn't.
I mean, it was possible.
It was they I mean, they were ranked
It was
5, but
possible, Well, just like
Only
from
lost
watching us, it wasn't possible.
after the big week for OSU. Winning there now definitely
could've won-
continued.
We definitely could have won that game. We just
Oh yeah.
sloppy. And I feel like Lincoln definitely was just like, screw y'all. Like,
He's
he
like,
did not care about
he,
that
wa-
game.
he wanted a low key lose so he'd have an excuse.
Our first like 3 drives were like 3 and outs because I swear he did not have a script coming into that game.
He didn't have a script. It looked like he didn't have a script at all. He didn't have anything. It looked
He was
like
just like winging plays, and none of them were even
Yeah.
creative or anything. It was just,
it. I was
it
watching
a
their
game call. I felt like I was watching like I don't even know who's a boring team. I felt like I was
the
watching
Lions.
Yeah, the Bears are the Lions on
The
offense.
Bears are good, boring play calling
Yeah.
Yeah,
team.
boring play calling, no execution. Like you can get away with boring play calling if you're like,
Good.
yeah. We're not. We're not.
No way to put it.
Yeah, I would say there was a lot of chances where I think pass interference should have been called, like especially towards the end of the game where cause they're just throwing
Yeah.
it up to the big OU receivers and the OSU DBs could not guard the receivers.
No, yeah, they were
Yeah.
holding a lot, but like I was watching that and I knew those were calls, but I was just like so disappointed in how we were playing that like we were relying on those calls that I was just like, you know what? Like
Yeah, but like
it's
they
whatever.
couldn't.
We played terrible, and to be honest, this team isn't going to do anything if we make it to the college football playoffs. So like
Yeah,
I don't
You
I'm not
won't.
that-
So you won't have to worry about it.
yeah. I don't want our name to be marred for a time that we actually could make it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the worst I felt about a 10-2 team ever.
I think this would be the worst I felt about any team. I would feel better if I were a Lions fan
Yeah.
at this
And
point.
our future is literally just gone. Lincoln Riley stabbed us in the back. He had to know the whole time. Like he just
Yeah, he would never leave the program. He would never leave.
He said he wasn't going to LSU, so I mean,
I know like
You
he
can't get
said
mad
he
at
was
him.
going to LSU like 8
Took his
hours
time.
before he
he wasn't wrong.
really moved out.
It's like the
That
Brian
was fun.
Kelly thing. It's the exact same thing happened.
Yeah, Brian Kelly, Notre Dame.
Yeah, but Brian
LSU.
Kelly didn't take like 8,000 recruits with him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Brian Kelly is moving to Louisiana, one of the worst states. And then Lincoln Riley is going to California, and
Yeah,
he's getting paid off like literally
$110 million. They're buying out his
Yeah, every amenity in the book.
in Norman. Then he gets unlimited like private jet
Private,
flights,
yeah, that was
$6
wild.
million house.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
that
But
is
also-
funny.
Brian Kelly's was like pretty much like, I can't win a championship here. Let me go to someplace that has better recruiting talent. Let me try and win a championship at LSU.
Yeah, but, like,
Lincoln Riley's
LSU's
just like
recruiting was because of what's his name?
Hmm?
Coach O. Coach O was like an insane.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But still, like, even just because of that, LSU's like name carries so much more weight, just because of how much the past couple of years.
yeah, I think it's a good
Notre
addition.
Dame. Notre Dame's like supposed to be a blue blood. I feel like. I don't know. I feel
They're always close, but they always kind of blow some games or something, and they do something bad.
They always have a bad schedule,
Yeah,
and they lose to a bad team. They lose
Yeah.
to one of the teams on their schedule.
exactly. That's basically the Notre Dame story. It's the most. They're one of the most overhyped teams ever, like all time.
Mhm.
They're like the Celtics of the. I saw that on the Stay Hot podcast once. They said they're like the Celtics of the college football.
they
world.
are, but like they're always good.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
but then
think
they
have
never
the
do
most-
anything. Yeah, they never do anything with it.
I think they have the most Hall of Fame players ever too.
That would. Yeah, I
Just
think
like
they
the-
do.
Recently,
Their
what
history is so rich.
What I will say about Chad Kelly, I feel like Notre Dame gets decent recruiting classes, nothing crazy. Like they get good like
Mhm.
stars, not as good as LSU for sure, but like I haven't seen that much talent come out at Notre Dame recently. It's like 4 or 5 names. I feel like it
Yeah.
has not been a lot. Like, and mostly, I mean, of course, they're always going to be pushing out offensive linemen, but like, that's just Notre Dame. I feel like.
Yeah, that's just the Notre Dame.
I feel like his reign hasn't been at all successful compared to how much they've been winning. Like, you would expect more players to be coming out.
Yeah, or more results. Yeah, but and then so We have Georgia, Alabama this weekend. That is going to be huge game. Huge.
Yeah.
That basically
We all
decides
know.
a lot.
Well,
Who y'all
no,
got?
Georgia's like a 6.5 point favorite right now. I think it's one of the 6 times that Alabama has been an underdog going into a game. They've won 5 out of those. They've won 4 out of the 5 games so far.
Jesus.
So we'll see what happens this weekend. But that's gonna be an interesting game. Cincinnati plays Houston.
Who do y'all got in that one?
I think I'm gonna go with Georgia because they're just really good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to pick Bama. I mean, it just doesn't. I don't know. I can't see a world. It'd be fun to pick Bama, but they almost lost to Auburn.
And we all pretty much know what will happen. If Bama loses, they're probably gonna get kicked out of the playoffs. But if Georgia loses, it'll probably still be both Alabama and Georgia in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So
that
Yeah.
is a big thing. Like I could see one. No, I was gonna say that like Georgia might not have their heart in it, but Kirby Smart definitely wants to beat Saban so bad that he's gonna be like calling them.
Yeah, no, they're gonna. They're
not-
gonna definitely come into it, ready to go. And
really, I was gonna say the opposite. I think that Alabama is gonna be out for blood this game, and I think they have a really good shot at making it really close.
no, it'll definitely be a close game.
Like Alabama had been out for blood last game too, though. Like every game they've had to have been out for blood. Like this means just as much as it meant when they were playing Kentucky or whatever. Wait, Kentucky
Auburn.
That doesn't mean anything. Yeah, or Auburn.
Auburn is not even that good, and that game came
Or
down to.
LSU.
Well, yeah, but
Everything
it's a
else
rival
serious.
game. You never know with those.
Yeah, I know. But and also
The Cowboys playing the Giants. It's still loose then.
the
The Eagles.
Eagles or the
Eagles
Chargers
are-
Broncos.
Eagles are scary always. I don't know. Like
They always seem like the villain.
yeah,
They're always like the
like
villain.
scrappy.
The Eagles for the Cowboys. But yeah, Cincinnati plays Houston. That's gonna be a big game. Michigan is now ranked 2. They beat Ohio State. Big game. Yeah,
Michigan,
so
Iowa. Is that Michigan, Iowa, and then
Michigan, Iowa, yeah, and then
Baylor,
Uh,
Oklahoma State.
big, yeah. So
That'll
we'll
be
see what
big.
happens.
So pretty much everyone is rooting for Bama to lose. So they
Yeah,
get it.
it makes it more fun because if Georgia loses, then you have both teams, and it's like
Yeah.
it's like probably the only time where the favorite is like more fun to root for because that means someone else gets eliminated. Because if they lose, then it's just like they're both in. Probably
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
way more. It's way
that's-
more. It's a weird situation, but it's gonna be cool to watch.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping Cincinnati still makes it in. I still don't trust the committee. I feel like they could beat Houston this week, and like
There's no way, Tyson. I think people there would be too much outrage. I think the committee knows they can't do that.
I don't
I
know.
think-
I think if Oklahoma State wins, and then Bama wins, and then Michigan wins, what do you do? Because what do you do?
If Cincy doesn't stomp them, if Cincy
Yeah.
stomp,
What if?
I think they're safe.
But what even is stomping to the college football playoff committee? What if they win by like?
40 and they're below 21.
What if they win by 20 and Oklahoma State wins by like 30?
I want to see like complete chaos though. I think it'd be. I think it'd be really cool to see what happens if like Cincinnati loses, Michigan loses, and like Oklahoma State loses,
I think
and then like Alabama loses. I think like that would
And then
be.
yeah, that'd be so funny.
I think it'd be awesome to like see what would happen. Like the playoff announcement would be so crazy and eventful.
if that many
Ohio
people lose,
or-
Ben for sure. And
Ohio
Lose it.
State is back if that happens. I'm kidding. Notre Dame gets a sneaky Baylor.
oh yeah, Notre Dame would be in.
Baylor.
If
Baylor. Oh, Baylor if they beat
oh yeah,
but they're two
if
lost.
Bama
teams.
lost,
They're two lost teams.
Cincy
so-
lost, Oklahoma State lost, Michigan lost, then yeah, I think it'd be Bama, then Notre Dame, then Baylor, right?
probably Baylor because they would beat
Yeah.
OSU in the scenario.
Can they?
Yeah.
Can they please just extend the playoffs to like 8 teams?
Yeah.
They need 8 or 12.
Yeah,
Or-
I saw.
Here's how UT Austin can still make the college football playoffs.
Matthew McConaughey, quarterback.
Okay, so Alabama needs to explode this weekend, like just combust.
This is why UT Austin is joining the SEC is a good idea, guys.
Here's how Lincoln Riley can still stay with OU.
Yeah,
they
and that he
playoffs.
couldn't. That could have been at more of a worse time too, because we're just moving to.
I was thinking that too. They lose all their transfers. They lose their coach. Everything's gone so bad, and they're moving to like one of the hardest
What if this was
conferences,
all-
not the hardest.
What if this
Plus
was
the
all part
only-
of the plan?
Yeah,
It's like a 5-year plan.
Lincoln Riley's a devil. It would have been worse if he went to LSU, to be honest, because then he plays them like, and he's in the same conference. That would have been so bad.
Oh, that is
So
true.
funny.
Can you imagine he worked on getting OU and like he's like I built up all these commitments and he's like oh look we're so good enough to join the SEC now. He gets them to join the SEC, then he's like I'm leaving to, and then he's like my whole plan is good.
He liked the chase, but he wasn't there for the commitment. You know, it's like
It's
a
just all set up.
yeah.
It's all
He
prank.
He's addicted to just like team building.
he loved the flirting with being good, but he didn't like being
Well,
good.
dude. But the thing is, I really think Lincoln's a little bit overhyped because
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
he started his job. Like,
Bad.
No, when Bob Stoops left, Baker just lost, or
Oh.
we just lost to Clemson in the playoff. We made it all the way to the playoffs the year he got. So like we had a good team, and then the next year we were in the playoffs again. But he's been in the college football playoffs 4 times, 0 wins. Like he's got like Coach O,
Yeah,
who's
I
fired
mean-
right now, has 2 more playoff wins than Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, but he had Jalen Hurts, so you know, that
Jalen
gives him
Hurts
enough
is-
credit.
A pretty good like Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback.
Oh no, I'm just saying like he made Jalen Hurts. Like Jalen Hurts.
Oh yeah,
did
yeah.
good.
No, he made Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
and he made Kyler.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Oh,
But like he's not as like as a college standpoint, a winning standpoint, I don't think he's that as good of a coach. He's a really good developing, you know what I'm saying? Like X's and O's coach.
Mhm.
Yeah, he definitely develops well. But I think he's a little overhyped as a head coach overall.
Yeah.
I liked him as a QB
and-
coordinator.
And he's a really good offensive coordinator. But he needs to be like reined in. Sometimes he gets too weird. Like he needs someone to tell him what they're trying to do, and then he calls plays. But sometimes he just like, and every time we're winning, like he throws the game away because he just like tries not to score. I swear.
He's thinking about USC.
Yeah.
That's why. We'll see what happens at USC. That's definitely going to be something to watch. But yeah, big weekend for college football. Now we can get into week
Our predictions.
13 and what we
Yes,
think about
Lions.
that. So let's look at the lines here. Couple of big
You do.
games.
you have the lines pulled up, Tyson?
I'm pulling them up right now. But yeah, we have Bengals Chargers. I think that's a big game. I kind of want to start off covering that. What do you guys think is going to happen? Bengals Chargers, big game for both teams.
I got Bengals winning it. Probably closer than you might think, but I say they win by 7.
I'd love to see them be able to run all over the Chargers like they did the Steelers. Joe Mixon just ran all over the Steelers last week, and I think he keeps it up.
That's definitely a very, very, very likely possibility against the Chargers. Melvin Gordon ran all over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chargers are favored, or Bengals are favored by 3 right now. I'm gonna pick the Bengals. They just like destroyed the
yeah,
Steelers.
I think it's probably a 7-point, 10-point game. So
Yeah, I'm expecting a big Jamar Chase game. I think he has a couple.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, Vikings Lions. We shouldn't have to spend much time on this. Do we? Anything? I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
What's the spread? How far is the spread?
Vikings are only favored by 7, which I think I might bet the over on if I could.
Yeah, I would take
Just in my head, I'll bet the over. Well, it'll be interesting to see how they play without Dalvin Cook there. Alexander Madison now RB1. It'll be cool. We'll see how their offense changes. It won't be cool, but it'll be interesting. And the Lions, I don't know if Jared Goff is back this game, but
I just want to see the Lions get a win. That's they've been so close recently. It's just been
you'll see one next year.
next year.
Yeah, maybe a couple years later. I don't know. I don't know. We're all rooting for the Lions. Obviously, we want to see them get a win, and I'm not too hyped about Vikings making the playoffs, but yeah, Vikings probably going to
Yeah.
cover that spread and more. Cardinals, Bears. Kyler Murray, D Hop are back.
Oh, yeah, that's
Supposedly.
gonna be huge.
Yeah, that's
They're putting
Number
up
one pass.
40.
they're definitely going to
Probably.
probably eat.
Number one passer rating in the league.
Cardinals are
Yeah.
favored by 7.5, which is weird that they're favored by more than the Vikings and Lions, especially when it's Kyler and D Hop's first game back.
That's. I feel like
It's
That's a
reasonable.
yeah.
I think it's reasonable.
I think that one's more right. I think the Lions Vikings one is too low. Buccaneers Falcons. Buccaneers favored by 11. In this game.
11. That's a large spread.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we can just quickly. I'm just going to quickly cover this. Antonio Brown suspended for 3 games for having a fake vaccine card. That is
My
the most
God.
Antonio Brown thing I've ever heard in my life.
So
He broke his leg. He's out for like 6 weeks, and he's about to come back in his first game, and then he like gets caught like faking a vaccine card, which is, by the way, that's a felony. By the way, like he should be like arrested and like actually like face serious charges.
Also, like, how did they just not like catch like what is that like?
I don't know. They didn't really invest. It doesn't seem like they gotta maybe question their
Took them
protocols.
that long to like catch Aaron Rodgers. So
Yeah,
like,
Aaron Rodgers only got caught because he like literally got COVID.
Yeah, he just said it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said it too. He's like, yeah, I didn't do it.
I was a immunized.
Yeah.
Immunized.
It really feels like, you know, the video of the security guard where he's like fake scanning everyone as they walk through. He's like, oh, the old guy. That's like the NFL and their COVID protocols, but they're making it seem like a lot. So I don't know. That was weird. Antonio Brown and there's some other Bucks players too.
Aaron Rodgers didn't get suspended at all. So
Yeah, but you know they're not going to suspend Aaron Rodgers. But it's funny. I remember seeing the text when it first got leaked about the vaccine card or first got rumored. He was offering like 15K or something for a vaccine card. That's so. You could just go.
I guarantee, dude, someone needs to check Tom Brady's, bro.
How is it? Yeah, I saw something about that too. They're like, I don't know. Tom Brady might.
No, I
who
feel like
do you think Antonio Brown got it from?
I don't know. Probably Antonio Brown. Probably just like.
I feel like it was Tom. Tom's got
feel
the.
like-
I feel like Tom
No,
would
I
like.
feel like-
I feel like Tom wouldn't risk.
Yeah.
I feel like Tom.
Yeah, I feel like he's too scared of like it being a problem.
Like he wants to win bad. Like you could feel that he's like trying to prove a little more. Just like trying to add that little extra spice on his GOAT status.
Yeah, left. Like, how's he not bored of this?
He
Like, I
loves
feel like
it.
Tom. I feel like when Antonio Brown gets back, Tom's gonna like beat him. Like he's gonna like.
He's probably gonna be like, you little. He's just like treat him like a little kid or something. Because Antonio Brown like lives with Tom Brady. I'm pretty sure he used to.
Come on, champ. We can't be doing that.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
like, you little rascal. What are you
Come
doing,
on,
man? Like, I don't think it'll be that.
I'll make mistakes, man. I get it. I
don't think it'll matter much.
He
If that,
talks way too nice on the sideline. It's kind of creepy, but like it also seems like it might be nice. I don't know.
Yeah, but just like Antonio Brown is such like he gets in flows and it's like he's getting in that breakup that kind of shows like whenever he gets in this little like breakup time where he's injured or like not playing.
yeah, he
like,
gets away.
it's like
Yeah,
he takes him some time to get back used to football and it's like
yeah. No, I hope he does good. He'll still be back for the last 2 games of the season and the playoffs. So that'll be an interesting thing to see. He literally hasn't played since like week 6, the Eagles game, or week 5 maybe. That was when I traded him in fantasy. So that was a great trade for me. Just wanted to say that real quick. Yeah, I traded him away, amongst others, for Alvin Kamara. One of my greatest trades. Colts Texans. Colts favored by 10. Yeah,
Colts have been kind of wait.
looking better.
They
They
just-
only lost by 7.
they only lost by
Right.
like a last second, like our last minute touchdown,
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, and then they had a pretty good
Yeah.
shot at winning.
Yeah, and
They
they've
kick
been looking
return.
pretty good. Their defense is really good.
And they were close with
And-
the Titans too.
Yeah,
Before that, yeah.
and they destroyed the Bills, which was a very, very promising game. So yeah, they're probably going to run it up on Houston. Houston just lost to the Jets. Tyrod Taylor didn't really look that comfortable in the pocket. I mean, I wouldn't be either with that O-line,
Mhm.
but
I
yeah,
think Rodrigo Blankenship comes back and Colts win the Super Bowl.
yeah, that's based. Pretty fair. Okay, Eagles, Jets. Okay, nothing really crazy so far in these lines. Eagles here by 7. Probably gonna cover that. Do we need more to say? I think
I don't think they cover it. Are you saying the Eagles cover or the Jets cover?
yeah, like Eagles go over that. I
Oh
think
yeah,
Eagles
yeah,
win by
yeah,
more
yeah.
than
I think,
7.
I take the over. Yeah.
Chargers, Bengals. We talked about that. Giants, Dolphins. Again, that actually could be close. I mean, the Dolphins just beat the Panthers, and the Dolphins are still in the playoff race.
And the Dolphins also beat Baltimore pretty recently too.
Yeah, they are trending upwards, which is a weird thing
Yeah.
because they were like 1-4 and they lost to the Jaguars.
And
Wait, who
Tua
did
didn't look
Dolphins play this week?
terrible.
Dolphins played the Panthers this week and they played the Ravens
Okay,
before that.
oh, didn't the who's the edge rusher they have this year? The new one, the rookie. What's his name?
Jalen
Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips. Okay.
Javon Phillips, yeah.
Didn't he have like 4 sacks last game?
I think he
Or
played
was he
pretty
at,
good.
like-
I saw he had a
I
good
wanna
amount of
say-
tackles
I
for
think
losses.
he
or
had at
something.
least 3.
I think he had like 3 or 4 sacks last
But
game.
I saw Theo did a little video on him, and I think only like he showed it, and he said like either 2 or 3 of them were coverage sacks, but it was 2 were I think coverage, and then he showed he actually did have a nice game though. But their defense just looked really good in general. I think they scored 2 on defense.
Yeah,
I
they
really like-
shut down Cam. That was rough to watch as a Cam
I
Newton
really like
enjoyer.
the system their defense runs. It's really interesting.
Yeah, Brian. It looked like they were frauds. It looked like Brian Flores was a bunch of hoopla at the beginning of the year. Their defense looked like a middle school zone at
Yeah.
first, but then I don't
Like-
know why he just activated Coach of the Year mode from
Looks
last
like they had
year.
a bunch of Tyson Dennisons running DB back there or something.
Yeah, a bunch of Blake Vaughn's at linebacker.
Now they're
And-
looking like Blake Fonz at
Lineman. Yeah, now they look like Blake Vaughn at lineman. So yeah, so that's gonna be the Dolphins are favored by 4. I think they
Over? I think they definitely are over.
well the Giants are fresh off it went to the Eagles and then it's still the Dolphins with 2 at quarterback, so you never know with them.
That game, the Giants Eagles game was so sad for Jalen Hurts, but then he also like threw a pick on the end because his receiver ran her out. Like I just feel bad for that guy.
yeah,
he's
he
fighting him and like they have a decent bit of talent on that team. I just don't feel like they utilize it completely right.
yeah, for sure. Miles Sanders does not get the ball.
yeah, under.
And Devontae Smith, he was like wide open in the last play. And instead
Oh, I
Jalen Hurts
saw
like
that.
No, but they
Like,
people
slammed his
are
helmet.
calling him out on that though. But the guy he threw it to like was open, but he
yeah.
his route,
Yeah.
he got held and they didn't call it. And then later, literally
Still
before
missed.
that play, he threw a deep route to Rager, who Rager dropped. Like it was
Yeah.
a perfect
Rager dropped
passing
2.
ball. Rager literally wasn't really open. Dropped it right in. He dropped out. That would have been a touchdown. And then he dropped another one, which was like a kind of he had to scramble a little bit.
It was kind of a hard catch, but he
Yeah,
still
it
should
was a
have caught
hard
it.
catch, but it was a perfect throw.
Yeah, he should have caught it.
Like it was right in his chest, but there were other people there. But like he had a good second to like hit,
Yeah.
catch it, tuck it, and get hit. Like
You
he
expect a
really-
receiver, like an NFL receiver,
yeah.
to catch that ball. That
Blake
was
Vaughn
Blake Vaughn. If that's a Blake Vaughn receiver right there, that's a touchdown and
Yeah.
more, and a bag of chips. Then we have Washington Raiders. Washington Raiders. Darren Waller won't be in this game, so that
How
actually
would
might be
you say
closer.
that?
I'm
still
looking.
think
The spread is varying. The Raiders are favored by 1 in this one I'm looking at. They're favored by 2.5 in another one. So it's gonna be definitely. I think it might be close, but again, without Darren Waller, the Raiders aren't honestly that much different because he just gets double teamed the entire game anyways. So I think Hunter Renfrow is still good. Josh Jacobs is still good. Derek
Dude,
Carr is still
You
heating
know
up.
who is a crazy athlete? Like he's actually pretty like insane after the catch too. Zay Jones. Y'all
Yeah.
watch that. The
Yeah.
Cowboys team, like he is insanely fast, and he's also got like something crazy, like at least a 40-inch vertical. And he was also, have y'all ever seen the clip of him kind of like floating to get up?
Oh, that's him.
Is that
Is he
him?
is that like the one like iconic
It
video?
literally looks like a glitch. But then I saw a TikTok a while ago, and it was like 4 little different times of him doing that, like in different games.
That's
But,
like,
like, he is so like just like twitchy. Like I feel like he's got more potential than they're showing.
They have a nice receiver room at talent. This Sean Jackson,
And Brian Edwards is good too.
yeah, they have a pretty, they had someone good too, Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, dude, they are like kind of low key like a good young core.
Yeah, Derek
Like,
Carr is not young, but
Josh Jacobs filthy. Yeah, other than their quarterback, like they kind of do have it mismatched. Like if they had a young quarterback, this would be a scary team for the future.
that's why I think they might move Derek. I think they might take a look at moving Derek Carr.
They should trade Derek Carr for like a high. Well, not this year, probably next at 20.
I would definitely look into it this year if you can get like a really like a surefire guy you're sold on. I wouldn't risk it for like a second round pick like a Carson Strong.
I just don't love anyone that much
Yeah.
to give up Derek Carr for.
If they like someone or they think they can get like a
Yeah.
plethora of picks, then we'll see what they do. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Raiders. I know Washington has that Bucks win and that Seahawks win, but I'm still gonna pick the Raiders. They always find a way to get someone good the ball.
Yeah, I think Raiders good option.
I think Raiders too.
Jaguars Rams again, not really an interesting game that we have to focus too much on. Finally, hopefully the Rams can get their first win in like 4 games. They're 0-3 in November.
Is kind of a funny game because like if they lose this, I feel like there's
well, that's
no
done.
turning back whatsoever. Even if it's like a fluke game and like the Rams like don't even play bad, like it doesn't matter. Like they could lose by like a 60-yard field goal, and I still think they're the season.
No, yeah, no, that'd be killer. That's like
they're kind of in their heads, like they're not playing.
Matthew Stafford's playing like Jared Goff.
Oh yeah, Matthews. I think he's had 3 pick sixes in a row. Like
Yeah.
3
Yeah, he
games.
has.
It's like that's 21 points, or that's negative 21 points. Not to mention just like not playing well.
Yeah, and I think me and Jack both shared a narrative that Matthew Stafford's a little overrated. So that narrative's heated up. Hopefully he sucks again and they trade back for Jared Goff
Yeah,
and realize the true savior of the Rams franchise. Yeah, they're favored by 13. I think they're probably going to cover. I think they're probably going to go over that. I could see them. Honestly, I can honestly see it being less than 13, but
yeah, I don't really know.
Jaguars had a pretty bad loss to the Falcons, and that really wasn't promising. I thought that might be a game they win.
Yeah, I'd say that they like the Jags don't cover it, so I'd say it's over 13.
Yeah.
I think their defense needs to play better than they have been playing too. I think. it's kind of
Yeah,
like-
that's a big problem. Their offenses look bad. Like they've had some crucial mistakes, but again,
but
they've
still,
put up
they're still-
numbers.
They're still the offense is still like kind of putting up numbers and losing games, which kind of
Yeah, they had like 25 versus the Packers.
I think it's like 27. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely the defense is stepping up a little bit. That secondary, aside from Jalen Ramsey.
It's hard against the Packers with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and the 49ers did amazing, and the Titans had the game of the year too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm worried for the Rams, but I'm not full like they're not. There's no way they win. I can
add in Von Miller.
Yeah, and Odell, and they just lost Robert Woods.
Yeah, so
The Ravens Steelers. That's the next game up.
it's a rivalry, right? Big rivalry.
Yeah, big rivalry.
Like the Ravens are due for a loss, and I have no reasoning behind it.
That's kind of fair. That honestly, I could see that. They had a really game they should have lost the Browns. And before that, they'd have lost the Dolphins. So, and the Steelers put up a great fight against the Chargers. They didn't put a great fight against the Bengals, but games like that happen, especially when Big Ben's your quarterback at age like 59. So, yeah, I could see the Steelers taking this one. Ravens are favored by 4.5. I'm going to say Steelers cover to some form. I don't know if I would pick them, but I think it's closer than 4.5. Lamar played a bad last week, which was kind of a bad narrative for me. But
yeah, it happens. I don't know what to say.
It's been happening too much though. It's worrying.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 picks. 4 picks is a little steep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot.
that's a big one. That's like a
Uh,
big. That's a 4 picks is like a. You go from 3 to 4. It's kind of a big jump.
But another crazy thing is 4 picks and a win. Like
That's
that
promising.
kind of like show you Lamar Jackson like what he is. Like
a
he
running
can
quarterback.
still win and throw 4 picks.
Yeah, and it shows that like this is like
Because
that's probably like
he sometimes can't throw.
that's probably like the lowest the offense is going to get. So I guess that's kind of promising that the
Yeah.
lowest, like their absolute low point on
Baddest you
offense,
can do.
They're still able to
Yeah.
win.
they beat like a playoff team. Like that's, I guess that's promising. I know Baker didn't have the great best game either, but
That's wild for their defense though. To throw 4 picks and still only let
yeah.
10 points.
And the picks weren't like they were like midfield picks for some of it. It was like pretty good field position for the Browns.
Mhm.
So definitely an interesting game. I'm gonna pick the Steelers to cover. I'm probably gonna pick the Ravens to win. But I think it's gonna be closer than 4.5.
Yeah, I got Ravens to cover and win. So
You know, it doesn't make sense when I'm sticking with my Ravens losing.
you like losing in general, just in general.
Yeah, they're just gonna lose this game.
That would be scary. Like that'd be bad.
Yes.
I think that'd be more panicking than like what the Rams are now.
I think
like-
Lamar would have to play like he does last week and throw like 4 picks.
Yeah, and then the defense would just have to like kind of do a little worse.
Let Big Ben run all over him.
I don't like the Big Ben running all over anyone.
Yeah, that's my prediction. Big Ben is gonna have 100 rushing yards. They're taking it.
Can he even like run 100?
Deontay Johnson is gonna have
eight.
18 catches for 30 yards. Big Ben is gonna throw that ball downfield.
Najee is just gonna play wildcat the whole game and hand it off to Big Ben.
Oh yeah.
Big Ben's gonna stiff arm 3 and then outrun the rest of the defense.
Oh my gosh, dude. You are not ready for what's about to happen.
And then he's gonna call Lamar a running back and win the MVP.
All right, what's the next
49ers Seahawks. This one is okay.
It's all right.
Every game or every week, there's always like a suspiciously low spread, right? Like there's always a really like a spread that I'm like, why is it that low? They know something I don't, and it always ends up being right. They do know, like it's always like the spread ends up being weird, and like the point differential. 49ers Seahawks. The 49ers are favored by 3.
Let Russ cook. Okay.
Why is it 3 points? The Seahawks just lost to Washington. The 49ers just beat the Vikings. And the 49ers are trending only up. And the Seahawks have less wins or less. They have a lower winning percentage than the Lions in November.
And the Russell Wilson looks awful.
Nothing looks good.
The 49ers always play the Seahawks bad.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks always play the 49ers good.
Well, and I just feel like even in my mind, I still feel like the Seahawks are like good.
It's hard to get past it. It's
Like,
hard to
yeah,
realize.
like-
Because they have so much
Yeah,
talent.
so many good players, dude.
So many.
It's crazy. Like it doesn't seem right to me.
Mhm.
It's especially crazy when it's like the offense that's doing like especially bad. It's not even like entirely the defense.
I mean, I guess they don't have like a running back, but like
That doesn't mean that doesn't really mean much for a Russell Wilson offense though.
yeah, usually
They don't even like use like the backup like Alex Collins. They don't even like try to use him.
he usually doesn't. They usually don't have running backs. The thing.
And they have literally good even their like slot like Moore is really. I feel like he's really good too.
Yeah, Lockett, Metcalf, Moore,
Okay, yeah,
Everett is good. Like I mean their O-line is bad, but
good team and like their defense. Well, I guess is their defense bad this year?
yeah, I mean it's yeah. But
Jamal Adams got a pick.
Jamal
Yeah,
Adams got a pick.
Talent on that defense. Andre Diggs, Jamal Adams, KJ Wright, but their linebackers are
Bobby
getting
Wagner.
old.
Bobby
Yeah,
Wagner's
Bobby.
Is he leading? I think he's the leading tackler this year.
Yeah, it's just kind of like an overall mid defense. It's just the most mid defense you can think of. Like one of your star players is like Jamal Adams, like the most mid star player ever.
I don't like how much slander Jamal Adams.
No, I don't either. I'm gonna like
He's not even
Yeah.
bad in the pass. He just doesn't get picks. Like he's just not
Yeah.
good at catching.
he doesn't have ball skills and he doesn't really have like a of zone coverage.
Well,
Or
his
man
ball
coverage,
control
maybe.
is terrible. He just has terrible, like,
Yes.
he can't catch. Like he gets pass breakups. Like
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't be, yeah, no.
It's like, but his like break on the ball isn't very fast. It's his problem.
yeah,
Yeah, he doesn't have insane reaction time.
but like I mean, that's not his position though. Like you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
I don't, I
there's
just,
a lot of-
it's,
like that's what Cam Chancellor wasn't that great either. Like he was just smash people and he was a really good run defender. I feel like they're probably equal, but like
it's just
so
the difference is
you get a narrative.
they gave up 2 first-round picks, which one is with now like the 5th pick for Jamal Adams, and then Cam Chancellor was like a draft pick. You know, it's just, it's like you expect them to be like do
But
more
I mean,
than enough for
you-
2
I-
first round.
usually just don't get as good a value from signing a player or trading for a player as you would drafting them.
Yeah, but it's definitely like, I mean, 2 first rounders. That was such an awful.
Oh, for sure.
I can't believe they did that.
I'm not saying it's a good pick. but-
Yeah. So that's gonna be an interesting game. I'm gonna pick the 49ers to go over that. I think someone in Vegas knows they will, and they're pulling some strings because this just happens.
Yeah, I'll put 49ers over too.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fun game. That's gonna be like the nail in the coffin. Like the Seahawks just jumped in the grave, and like that's gonna be like the game where it's like, yeah, you guys have to trade Russell Wilson to the Giants.
You say that, but as a 49ers fan, I never feel confident going into a Seahawks game.
Oh no, I'm not saying it like for sure gonna win, but if they lose this game,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they gotta rebuild.
I hate watching. I hate it. I hate it every year.
If the
I'd be worried.
49ers draft like Javonte Williams next year, and I think they'll be like kind of really scary. Or like a really good receiver.
Wait, you said Javonte Williams?
Or who's the guy at Bama?
Who is the Bama running
Or
back?
like Smith and Jigba?
I don't know. I don't know
Wilson.
Bama's. I don't know college.
Oh,
players
Chris
that well.
Olave. Chris Olave.
I would rather both the other receivers on Ohio State than Chris Olave, but
If they draft a good
Jackson
good
Smith.
player.
I'm just saying like any
Oh, you're talking about
really
John
good wide
Mechie?
receiver.
When you're talking about Alabama, we're talking about John Mechie.
No, the other guy that's better.
Nick Saban.
It's Jay Williams. I know that.
Javonte Williams plays for the Broncos, so he sadly cannot get drafted.
Wait, hold on. Let me look at it.
John Mechie's the Alabama's leading receiver, isn't he?
It's Williams. Wait, let me look at.
That's definitely yeah, 49ers, they're close. They're close. Like a weapon away, maybe.
Jameson.
Jamison Williams, is that a real name?
Yeah,
That seems like a Madden auto-generated, like
he's got 1,261 receiving yards, 13 touchdowns this year.
dang. Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if they take a guy, like if they just get like a dynamic receiver in the draft, I think they'll be really scary. They've
That-
got good running talent. I mean, their defense is kind of filled with stars. Like,
We're talking about the
Brett
49ers, right?
Yeah.
yeah, like
I don't-
I think they're kind of scary. If
I don't know
if
about
they
another.
get, like Trey Lance, like in a couple years, like they keep their core, which is it's a stretch, or like
I
they
think like
get
core.
good
I think
play
like
at
cornerback or like a DB.
DB is definitely a big issue for them. They let up a lot of big plays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say a quarterback or a DB because we
give
still
them
have,
like 2 years, and I feel
I
like
think-
they're scary.
I feel like Brandon Ayuk showed that he had a lot of talent that could like develop a lot more. And you have Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and then maybe
And George Kittle's.
You want to see
always-
Trace Sermon be able to develop? Yeah, always.
And Elijah Mitchell, he's a rookie too.
Yeah,
They can
so
both
we
develop
just-
it. Either one is gonna develop.
I feel like the offense isn't our biggest. It maybe.
It wouldn't
They're
even make
not
sense to
putting
draft a
up that many
receiver.
points, though. Like,
That's just because they have. I was gonna say it doesn't really make sense to draft another weapon because no matter what, no matter what, you still have Jimmy Garoppolo throwing at them, which
Yeah.
doesn't really get to like it's like if you give the weapon an extra weapon to like a what can I think? you get an extra weapon like a Patrick Mahomes, he's
I
throwing like
think-
an extra like 60 yards a game.
I think they're counting on Trey Lance to be good. Like I think he's not starting this year. I don't think he's not starting this year because he's not good. I think he's not starting this year because they kind of want to do what Kansas City did with Alex Smith and what's his name?
Give him some
Patrick
time.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like give him a little like a year to get like ready.
Yeah, and because they're still they're still a playoff level team with Jimmy
Yeah.
under Jimmy G.
Yeah, no, he probably won't start for a good amount of time. But I was gonna say if you give a Patrick Mahomes another weapon, he puts up 60 more yards a game. You give Jimmy G one, he gets like 5. Like it's like it's not too much of an impact. You can only go so far with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's still pretty solid for what they have, and
Yeah,
he's like
I think
decent.
Jimmy G's a solid quarterback. Like I don't think he's awful. I think
No,
people-
he's not awful, but he's not the guy where you're like, we have like if you have the option to improve your
can go
defense or give Jimmy G another weapon after having like 4, I feel like you have to go defense, even if you're
Well,
Kyle
but that-
Shannon
that's
and you're
the
weird.
thing I'm saying. I think it might be give Trey Lance another weapon.
Give Trey Lance would be another
That
weapon, but
is
that's
a
something
Story.
that's something you look at probably a year,
Yeah,
one more draft down the line.
You still have Debo and Ayuk to develop
Yeah.
like crazy. They're still so young.
Yeah.
so much
I think you look at one more year down the line for Trey Lance weapons, then it makes sense because Trey Lance is also a pretty dynamic quarterback style. So
Mhm.
cooler receivers would be nice. All right, finally, 2 good games. These are the last ones. I don't know. One of them's not that good. Broncos Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 9.5, but this is it's Sunday Night Football prime time. Sorry, this is a huge game for the Broncos.
Yeah, they're gonna get smashed.
Hopefully, but if they win this game,
Oh,
they
this really
will-
is a big game for him.
yeah, if they win this game, playoffs is like almost a lock. Not a lock, obviously, but
Good shot.
it's a great shot, and I'm feeling confident. Like that's probably I'd definitely be like, all right, we're going to the playoffs, and if we don't, it's a fluke. It's gonna be hard, for sure. Broncos, Chiefs, but we always keep it close with the Chiefs. Sometimes it is at Arrowhead, which doesn't help much. I'd be way more confident about this game if it was in Denver in the Mile High Air, but I'm going to say the Chiefs are going to win this game for prediction wise. I'm going to say the Broncos cover 9.5. I think we closer.
Yeah,
It's a divisional
I think-
game, and they're heating up in the Chiefs. I know they were on a bye week, so they have more time, but they've been inconsistent this year. I think the Broncos cover. I think the Chiefs win. And this helps me because it's either I'm right or I'm happy. So, what's better than that? What's your guys' pick for that game?
Hmm.
I have
Jordan
very similar take. I think Chiefs win, Broncos cover.
I
much to
feel
say
like-
about it.
This is really a toss up because I never know which Kansas City I'm gonna get. But at the end of the year, it's looking like we
Looks
might
like
be
they're
getting
coming
more
back.
good Kansas City. So I'm gonna say Kansas City, and I think
Yeah.
I'll take the over.
The only thing is with why I'm not going to take the over is because last year, Kansas City at like its peak, not its peak, but it's like one of its best states, like its average Kansas City state. They played the Broncos prime time, and it was in Kansas City, and it was pretty close. It's just Drew Lock threw like 2 picks. They were like bad picks on like good drives, and so without Drew Lock in that game, if you have Teddy Bridgewater in that game, which is such a weird thing to say, but if you have Teddy Bridgewater in that game, it gets a lot closer, and it's like a very winnable game. So I'm actually kind of excited. And Javonte Williams is heating up. Melvin Gordon is still running pretty well. And we didn't even get our receivers involved last week at all. And we still won by like 15 versus a good team. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then the final, this game is going to be really good. This is going to be the game to watch. Definitely the game of the week. Bills, Patriots, Monday Night Football.
Bills, Patriots.
Bills favored by 2.5, which is kind of interesting.
I got Pats.
I have not picked the Pats for like almost every pick this year. That's like been kind of questionable. Like I picked the Browns to beat them, and then they lost by like 38. I'm gonna go Pats. I think Pats win, and obviously cover. But
I don't. I think this Pats like streak ends right here. think the Bills shattered their hopes and dreams.
You're wrong.
I don't know. Do you
That would
think
even
Bills-
that would even shatter their. I mean, they would be not first in the division, but that would still.
No, I'm saying like this is like there's like a downhill slope from like this
Well,
point
Blake,
on.
I think you're
Oh.
stupid.
Because I think
Downhill, but do they even
I think
have
their
the har-
offense. I think their offense is a fraud. And I think
Okay, no, there's no. That's like the bad. That's a bad take. Sorry, that's a bad take.
Explain why.
It's hard to have a fraud offense when you have Bill Belichick and like
Dan.
like I get saying their offense is a little overrated, but at the same time, it's like
I
When
don't
you
think
have
Mac
an
Jones is
athlete
as
like
good as
Mac
Bush.
Jones at quarterback, it's never a fluke.
I just feel like
saying
they've been
that-
like systematically perfect.
I feel like recently people have been saying there's so much hyper, like have had so much hyper on their offense, and I feel like it's not like it's been going well for them, but like
Well,
I just think it's
like
gonna-
just like look what they've done. Jets, they put up 54, Cowboys 29, Chargers
Falcons.
24, Patriots. Oh, I mean Panthers 24, Browns 45,
The Falcons
Falcons
25.
25, Patriots 36. I keep saying Patriots, Titans 36.
Yeah,
that's-
they've
that's-
won
that's-
some.
They've and all those like they're keeping the opponent. The only time that they've had over 20 was Cowboys and Chargers.
And that was a winnable game, the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I can't call, I feel like if it was any other team, I'd be like, oh yeah, this offense is a fraud. They have Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne and Damian Harris, and they're 8-4.
Andre Stevenson, don't
Yeah.
forget
Yeah, and
him.
I'm like, all right, they gotta be something. There's gotta be something up. But they have like the perfect game script every week. They have a perfect system, perfect coaching, perfect coordinating. It's so like it's so hard to bet against them to think like, oh yeah, this team's gonna like absolutely just suck this week. Like it feels like it doesn't happen anymore with the Patriots. It feels like their players are good enough to not mess up that bad. Their coaching's good enough to not make sure they mess up that bad.
And Mac Jones has a quality that I really like in a quarterback and it's that his worst is not bad.
Mhm.
Like, but
Mhm.
you might not always get his best. Like he's got a pretty wide range. Like you're probably gonna get more average play out of him, but he's never gonna be terrible because like he just takes what's there.
yeah.
When he's playing bad, it's gonna be because he's not trying to push the ball like downfield enough, or you might have a pick.
Yeah.
Matt, like he's not gonna like throw your game.
His worst games are definitely when he plays from behind.
Yeah.
Because he's a more conservative quarterback. And he could play from behind this game. So I could definitely see a scenario where
Yeah.
they go down early and Mac Jones struggles to come back
Mhm.
because he's very conservative and hasn't really tested his arm much. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping the Patriots win. It'd be way cooler. Yeah, but it'll be a great game. Monday Night Football, that's a great matchup. And they're competing for the division. Patriots have a pretty easy schedule from this year on out. They play the Colts, which is hard, and the Bills again. But then they have the Jaguars, Dolphins to finish it out, and they're already at 8 wins. They're basically guaranteed playoffs with the current schedule. So
Yeah, I think they make playoffs. I don't know. I feel like their defense has carried them out of a couple games that they shouldn't have won.
I just it's hard to pick the Bills.
Win, Blake. Like they've for the at least the past couple games they've been crushing teams.
Oh yeah, I think the offense is one. Definitely a
If
good
you
night
watch,
games.
if you
Put
like
up
watch, if you watch the
good-
games, like Mac Jones hasn't looked very good of like a quarterback.
Oh, you're
but
just
he's
saying
like-
you're saying like they're giving them short fields and like
Yeah, the defense,
like
and
that.
also like, there's been games where like Mac Jones passes for like under 200 yards and they still put up like a ton of points because they get
I
defensive
do
touchdowns.
actually do get that because I feel like I see that and people are acting like a game's like a blowout for the offense. No,
Yeah, I
I
know.
get that,
Yeah.
like where it's like the numbers aren't there for the points and you're kind of suspicious.
Like they're
Yeah.
getting like JC Jackson has 7 picks, Matthew Judon has been a sack monster, and it's just been
They also have
They're
some
bad.
other good pieces on the defense.
Yeah, 7. JC Jackson really like the way he's playing. He's looking like he could be like a top 5 cornerback in the league, but like I don't trust that.
I don't trust that either. I'm not gonna put him there. I don't want to put him there.
No, I wouldn't put him there, but like I'm saying, like the way he's playing, like You might think it if you just like dropped in on football and looked
Yeah.
at his stats.
You just had him in fantasy or something in a defense
Yeah.
league. Yeah, but I do think their offense has definitely won more games because of their they've been good because of their defense. And I think it's just the script is so perfect. That's the thing. It just feels like they study the hardest out of any team. Like they just put in the most work in the scripts and the schemes. And because obviously you're going to, it's Bill Belichick. But so that's why I don't have much doubts about the offense. I just think, like we said, their ceiling isn't that insanely high, but their floor is not low at all. Like you're not going to get a Zach Wilson game out of Mac Jones. The defense isn't going to have a bad game, like a horrible game. And, this Bills team has looked streaky. They let Jonathan Taylor run all over them. And, so I'm going to take the Patriots. It's more fun. That'll definitely be a game to watch.
What's the spread again?
2.5. Bills are
2.5.
favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills just in both.
Okay. I think that's okay. That's fair. It'll be fun. I mean, the Bills did destroy the Saints, but that is the Saints.
Yeah, that's the Saints.
So we'll see. It'll be definitely the coolest game, the best game. But yeah, that basically just wraps up for our Week 13 recap and this episode,
Yeah,
or Week 12 recap and Week 13 predictions.
it was a good podcast. I feel like we talked about a lot.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
I think
Amazing.
that we'll know a lot next week. Like our next episode, there's gonna be a lot to cover because
Yeah,
college football is gonna be a big thing. We
Yeah,
just we find out so much this week.
I think we should probably do like. Wait, are we done with the podcast?
I have not wrapped up yet. I was about to wrap up in a second.
Shoot, sorry, Blake confused me. My bad. I had to cut that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So pretty much that's it, right? I think.
Yeah, that's gonna be it for this podcast. Next week we'll come back to you guys with college football recap. That's gonna be a big thing. We're gonna know a lot more about that. We're gonna recap our Week 13 picks, make predictions for Week 14. We also are gonna cover the NFL awards. We're gonna make some predictions for that. Start making predictions. MVP. That's gonna be a fun one. Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, both offensive and defensive. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you guys for listening as always.